It's tempting to fog over in despair at the encroaching criminal takeover of the Internet. But wait, don't. You may have heard of something called PKIDR, PKI done right, and how it uses a brilliant old technology in a new way. This video will give you a taste of the eye-popping power of PKIDR digital signatures to turn around the expanding mayhem in our information infrastructure. We all know the problem. In the digital world, people hide behind stolen, synthetic, conglomerate, store-bought, or phony and untraceable IDs and get away with anything, with no accountability. In the physical world, we have real people who sign things so they can be accountable for what they do. So, the digital world needs real people too, behind their digital identities, who can sign things and be accountable for what they do. Accountable, real people in the digital world who can be exposed for bad acts? Think of license plates. You're anonymous during normal activity on the road, but an incident will require revealing your identity to those concerned. It's called accountable anonymity. Wouldn't that change things? How is that possible? Here's how. Digital signatures of real people. Not just any digital signatures, but digital signatures of flesh and blood, accountable human beings. You've heard of electronic signatures and the digital signatures available from commercial vendors. We're not talking about those. They don't securely bind the signature to a real person, which, by the way, is the primary job of a digital signature. We'll talk about those later. Let's start fresh with real digital signatures, the digital signatures of PKIDR. These are the ones with eye-popping potential to fix our broken Internet. Here's what makes them so powerful and different from those other signatures. First, the signature represents an individual, real, accountable human being, not a stolen, synthetic, conglomerate, store-bought, or phony identity. This is the foundational characteristic of PKIDR digital signatures. If there's one thing to remember, it's this. Number 2, the rock-solid link between signature and signer is confirmed by PKI technology in real time every time the signature is referenced. Number 3, that real human being is represented by a digital identity that carries a measure of its own reliability. 8 metrics measure the likelihood that this digital identity actually represents that real person. Number 4, the signer's digital identity is created and managed not by a commercial enterprise or government for profit or politics, but rather by duly constituted public authority. The city of Osmio is a worldwide, non-political, non-commercial, resident-owned certification authority. Think of it as World City Hall for digital birth certificates. Number 5, the digital signature assures that the signed item hasn't been changed, not a single word or number, not a single comma, since the signer signed it. This last point is a feature of any digital signature that uses classic PKI technology to link a signature to a signer. But the critical difference is, with PKI done right, the signature is linked to a signer who is a real, accountable human being. Now, imagine things in the digital world bearing PKIDR digital signatures of real people and how that will change everything.
Signed emails. If the signature cannot be confirmed, then the contents of the email can't be trusted. Phishing, spear phishing, suspicious attachments, and malicious links will dry up when all it takes is an invalid or missing signature to call them out. Signed documents and other items. Since a digital signature assures the authenticity of the signer and the contents, unauthorized or nefarious changes can no longer slip by unnoticed. Signed blockchain entries. Adding accountability to the usual immutability and anonymity of blockchain means it will no longer be a hiding place for bad actors. Signed code. This will be a new profession for expert, well-paid code auditors who, like a CPA or a doctor or architect, put their good name and livelihood on the line when they sign code attesting to its integrity, with personal, professional, and criminal liability for misuse of their authority. Signed IoT devices. A signing officer of the company who makes the IoT device attests that there is no sleeper cell botnet code that could launch a denial of service attack or other mischief. Like the professional code auditor, there will be criminal liability for misuse of their signing authority. Signed facilities such as chat rooms, clubs, and social media platforms. A professional inspector takes personal responsibility for the integrity of that facility, similar to an occupancy permit signed by a building inspector, vouching for the safety of a building. Signed system logs. Everyone who makes an entry in a network or system log signs the entry so that every event is connected to an accountable individual as a deterrent against malicious system changes, even by insiders. Signed bank transactions. Beyond the obvious security benefit to customers and the banks, armies of synthetic identities will no longer be able to commit pervasive bank fraud estimated at billions worldwide. Signed news stories. The reporter's signature stays with the story as it propagates to other outlets, where its authenticity can be seen by readers. Unsigned or altered stories will be flagged, leaving fake news with a shrinking audience.
The accountability provided by digital signatures of real people is a deceptively simple but remarkably effective way to stamp out bad behavior. Now, what about those other signatures we packed up earlier? Electronic signatures are just an image, with easily spoofed or hacked identity verification and no assurance of the signed item's content. Similarly, commercially provided digital signatures have little or no assurance that the identity behind them is an individual real person, and even if it is, if that person is really who they say they are. Neither kind has identity quality measurement or the backing of duly constituted public authority, providing imposters, fraudsters, and thieves a convenient source of fake or untrusted identities with no ability to unmask bad actors, no accountability. You've now seen how PKIDR digital signatures are the existential core of authenticity. Digital signatures of measurably reliable identities. You'll see it right there in the first two lines of the definition of authenticity. Digital signatures everywhere, backed by measurably reliable identity certificates that are owned by the person identified and which provide privacy via accountable anonymity. Authenticity works where security technology has failed us.